Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is my 2026 BookTube Prize Octofinals TBR video. I am so excited to be part of the BookTube Prize again. This is my 7th year participating, which feels crazy to me. I can't imagine how much time has passed. But anyway, the BookTube Prize was started by Robert Sheard as a way for the literary bookternet to come together to judge what we consider to be the best in literary fiction and nonfiction published in English the year before in the US. So yeah, that's the gist of it. This is a project that takes the better part of a year. We start with long lists of 48 books per division. We have 4 rounds that go for 2 months apiece, and then we whittle down our long lists until we get to the finals with 6 books per division, and finally we'll go vote for the winners. But we're at the very beginning of the story as it is right now. Just this afternoon, as I am filming this video, is when Robert premiered the announcement of the Octofinals, because actually the BookTube Prize technically begins in January. And Robert has scoured the internet and has also gotten some books graciously from publishers to see about the buzziest titles that were published in the US. And we got lists of 100 or so books, and we got to vote for the long lists. So, in fact, the first thing I like to do, which might be more geeky fun to me than anyone else, is I keep track of stats. Back in January, I printed out these, long list contenders for both fiction and nonfiction. I did some research and wrote in some notes about each book. And then I chose the 20 that I would want to vote for in each division. And now I'm tracking how many of those 20 made it onto the long list. And I think I did better this year than last year, and pretty good overall. So for nonfiction, 15 of the 20 books I voted for made it onto the long list, and for fiction, 13 of the 20 books I voted for made it onto the long list. So yeah, I'm thinking we're doing pretty well so far. Let's see how long any of these books stay in the prize. Also, for the first time this year, we got to choose what division we'd like to read in rather than the algorithm assigning us. And I decided to start, as I often do, with nonfiction, and then the algorithm put me into Group G. And this means I have 6 particular books to read and review. And coming up now is a montage of all those covers. Alright, so here are my quick preliminary thoughts on each of the books. I will go down the list as they appear on my ballot. Also, some other fine print is I have 2 months in which to read all 6 of these books, and then I rank them from my most favorite to least favorite, and then, the amalgamation of all of the judges' top 3 will advance to the quarterfinals. But other than that, I cannot talk about these books after this video. I have to zip my lips so that I don't, influence any judges or what have you. So I'm just giving some preliminary thoughts before I start reading, and then I'm shutting my trap. But anyway, the first book on my list is Dead and Alive by Zadie Smith. And this is a book of essays, and admittedly, this is probably the book I'm looking forward to the least, because in recent years, I just feel like I've fallen out of sorts with essays. It's like my least favorite type of nonfiction. I think it just, I don't know, there's something about them that seems pretentious, and I start thinking, why do I care about your opinion on such and such? Which really isn't fair. Maybe I've just read some bad collections lately, but I have read Zadie Smith before, and she's okay, so I should, try to eschew all bias and just go forward with an open mind. Besides, who should be listening to me anyway? Rather than change out of a short sleeve shirt in this weather, I just put a blanket over myself, so. The next book is Paper Girl by Beth Macy. What I know about this is that it is a memoir, and it takes place in an Ohio town, and it's covering the opioid crisis. So, a lot of meaty, important stuff in this one. Of course, it's reminding me of Demon Copperhead, the book that won for Book 2 prize in fiction a couple of years ago, which also addressed the opioid crisis in small town America. So kind of goes hand in hand. I'm really interested to see what this one has to say. Then we have Jesus Wept by Philip Shannon. And this book is about 50 to 70 years, I believe, of history of the Catholic Church from World War II up until the present day. I think it covers 7 popes, something like that. So it's going to be sprawling. I often get along pretty well with history that is, this broad and covers so much time. I gotta say, I'm curious about this title, though. Jesus Wept. It feels like there's definitely some, opinion in the title that I don't know what it means yet. Does it mean Jesus is weeping because of the Catholic Church going against his teachings? Or is Jesus weeping because the poor Catholics have had to deal with so much ever since the Protestant Reformation? I don't know. So I imagine there will be some sort of argument in this book, and I'll have to see whether or not I agree with it. And I'm eager to, get into it. Next, we move on to the science book on the list. It is a River Alive by Robert McFarlane. This is actually the one book on my ballot I personally voted for to make it onto the long list, so I'm very excited to read it because I read one of Robert McFarlane's science books a few years ago for the Book 2 prize, and I really liked it, and it really excited me because I struggle with science because I don't really understand it. I try, but this one was really creative, the way that he talked about his last subject. So I'm hoping we get a little bit of creativity in how he talks about rivers this time. So I'm really excited to go into this one, and hopefully I'll rein in that bias as well, just because the last book worked for me. Who knows if this one will? Next, we have Wild Thing by Sue Prideaux, and this is a biography of Paul Gauguin. And this is someone I don't know very much about at all, so I'm very excited because I love biographies. And I think I did a very scant amount of research as I was researching these books to vote for them, and I put that he was a man who stood up for Polynesian rights, but I think it's more than that. He also was a French painter during the 19th century as well, so multifaceted man and career. Maybe it feels a little bit like Lawrence of Arabia, like having a European man who's standing up for indigenous rights, but these things certainly happen, and it'd be really intriguing to get a look at a man who decided to engage in that activism. So I'm really excited for this. And the final book in my ballot is A Flower Traveled in My Blood by Haley Cohen Gilliland. And this book is about Abuelas de Plaza del Mayo, which is a activist group from Argentina that rose up in retaliation against the Argentinian regime, dictator and regime of the 70s and the 80s. And one thing that regime did was that it forced people they did consider to be undesirables to give up their children, and they gave those children to, their faithful, as it were, to raise. And this group rose up to try to reunite the children and the birth parents. And so this is something I know about vaguely. It might have come up in some fiction or nonfiction I've read in the past, but I know very little about it, so I'm very, very eager to learn more. And certainly, as things go, and comparing literature to life as we're living it now in the United States, particularly when it comes to so-called immigration enforcement that also seems to be targeting a lot of citizens lately. So yeah, I feel like it's probably going to be difficult for most American readers to read about something like this without comparing it to our own reality, but I think it might leave a hopeful message about actually being able to stand up in the face of injustice to do something righteous. So anyway, I just hope to learn a lot more about this history, and yeah, overall, I just feel like I'm really excited about my ballot. It feels like there's a lot of different types of nonfiction, and it covers a lot of different topics that are really intriguing. So I'm eager to get going here, and I'll be zipping my lips until, the beginning of April, when I'll finally be able to share my thoughts and my ranking and so forth. So stay tuned for that. And that about covers it for me now. I will be back on BookTube certainly before April. My next video should be my page 112 tag video. This is a monthly TBR game I play to try to tackle my physical unread shelves and use reading page 112 as an excuse to add one of those books onto my month's TBR. So stay tuned for that. I will be reading other things other than the BookTube prize in these next couple months, things I can talk about on this channel. But I am very, very excited to be back in this prize, and I'm so grateful to Robert for all the work that he does. We have, hundreds of judges from around the world that he has to wrangle us all to make sure that we have our assignments and we do what we're supposed to do and have access to the books and so forth. And I'm lucky that I, have access through my library system. So hopefully I'll be able to get going on reading them soon. Also, I'll leave links to the 6 Goodreads pages for these books listed down below in case you'd like to learn more information about them that way, as well as a list to my playlist of book awards, all of the videos I've made for the BookTube prize and other awards throughout the years. So yeah, good luck to all of my fellow BookTube prize judges. I hope it's a wonderful 2 months of reading for those of you who are participating in the Octofinals. And thanks so much for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time.